On the 9th day of Christmas, some holly berries.
Genesis 45, verse 4. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now, there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years, there will not be plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant and to save your lives by a great deliverance." And then in chapter 50, verse 18, his brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives."
Well, welcome to you on this cold, blustery, miserable day. And it's December the 9th. And I just want to say thank you to Reverend Ian Hayward for doing the reading for us. And he read from Genesis 45, verses 4 to 8, and also chapter 50, verses 18 through to 20. And this is entitled Evil for Good. Jacob had 12 sons, but his favourite son was named Joseph. Jacob gave Joseph a special robe of many different colours. This made Joseph's brothers very angry and jealous. They hated Joseph even more when he told them about his dreams. Joseph dreamt that his brothers would one day bow down to him. The brothers were so full of hatred towards Joseph that they planned to kill him, but sold him for silver to a group of travellers instead. Joseph was carried far away from his homeland to the country of Egypt as a slave. But God had not left Joseph. He was planning to use Joseph in a big way to keep his promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God showed Joseph the meanings of people's dreams. Joseph was able to explain the meaning of a dream for Pharaoh. He was the king of Egypt. He told the Pharaoh that there would be a terrible famine in the land for 7 years. There wouldn't be enough food for everyone to live. In the years before the famine, Pharaoh would need to save up a lot of grain to provide bread for the people during the famine. And Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of this very important job of saving up grain and made him a powerful ruler in Egypt. Joseph saved up so much grain in Egypt that people from other nations came to buy bread during the famine, including Joseph's brothers. When they arrived in Egypt, Joseph's brothers didn't recognize him. When Joseph eventually showed them who he was, his brothers were upset and afraid. They thought he might treat them badly, like they had treated him. But Joseph told them not to be afraid. He knew that the bad things his brothers had done were all part of God's good plan. God had sent Joseph to Egypt and made him powerful so that he could provide bread for his family during the famine. God was taking care of his chosen people. When Jacob heard that his son Joseph was alive, he and all his family moved to Egypt, where they had plenty of food to eat. Many years later, there was another son in Jacob's family who was hated by his brothers. Those brothers did terrible things to this son as well. They sold him for silver and even had him violently killed. But once again, God used their evil actions to carry out his good plan. He used these evil actions to give us the bread of life, the only bread able to save the world. Now, the main point in this story is that Joseph's brothers treated him badly. They sold him to slavery, didn't they? But God used their evil actions for good. God sent Joseph to Egypt to save his family by providing them bread, even during the famine. Like Joseph, Jesus Christ is the son from Jacob's family who was hated and killed by his Jewish brothers. But God used these evil actions to provide salvation to people from every nation. Jesus Christ is the bread of life, who gives our souls the nourishment we need forever. Now, some questions that you might have, or some questions you might like to think about. Number 1, how many sons did Jacob have, and which one was his favourite? Number 2, can you think of 2 reasons why Joseph's brothers hated him? And number 3, for those he loves, God always brings something good out of the bad things that we face, even when it looks different to what we might expect. Can you think of a time when God has brought something good out of something bad? And so this was December the 9th, and it's December the 10th tomorrow, and that means that there's only 15 more days to Christmas after tomorrow. And so we've got 15 more days to read this book, to tell you all the way from Genesis, all the way down to the birth of Jesus and beyond. And so I hope you're enjoying this book. I'm so pleased to know that some of you are joining me and listening. At least you'll have a good idea now of why Christmas is so special, especially for Christians, that it isn't just about gifts. It isn't just about Christmas dinner, and it isn't just about rushing around. In fact, it should be none of those things. It should be celebrating that Jesus has come to save us. And so I hope that you'll carry on joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow where we will be reading day 10. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Keep wrapped up warm. I'm sitting by the fire because I'm so cold. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow for the next day. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye-bye.